Hello everybody, welcome back to Learning Biology 18.2. So the last video was quite long because it is an introduction, 佢係一個引入啦, and at the same time it is very related to your earlier chapters, 同你之前學過嘅課題啦，會係非常相似嘅. For example, your chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 8, etc. Alright? So anyways, we're going to part 2, 咁第二個部分啦. And this is one very important concept in chapter 18 and so as other chapters. 亦都一個好重要嘅 concept 嘅. We say this the negative feedback mechanism. OK, 自己讀讀啦. Negative feedback mechanism. Okay, so mechanism in Chinese means 機制啦. Okay, but then negative feedback, what does it mean by negative? We're going to talk about that later. 咁遲少少再講啦. So a little bit introduction first. Once again, very similar to the flowcharts we have always been teaching you. Alright, so we'll talk about that. 第一樣嘢啦, homeostasis. How does homeostasis happen? 點樣發生嘅呢? How is it brought about? 點樣帶來嘅呢? So it is mainly brought by the negative feedback mechanism. Okay, 咁樣啦, and there are two coordinators again. 你會見到啦, 一個係 nervous system, and the other one is endocrine system. So you should be able to remember immediately. These two systems are the coordinators in our body. 佢兩個屬於 coordinator 㗎. Okay, so what another basic information about this mechanism? 另一個好簡單嘅引入啦, and that is the flow chart I've just told you about. So there must be a receptor, 一個接收器啦, which is going to detect the stimulus. Okay, so what is it going to detect? 佢今次會測量啲乜嘢呢? So it's going to detect a change in level compared to the set point. 指讀呢隻字啦, set point. Set point 係設定點啦. So this is not a keyword, but in some questions 喺一啲題目嗰度啦, you may see this word set point. Okay, and when you see this word in the question, it is better if you can use this keyword to answer the question. 得唔得? Okay, 睇一睇啦. So it is going to detect the stimulus and then 佢會 detect what is the change in level. 好啦, detect 完個 change 之後, it is going to send the message to the control center, 去到嗰個中心個位置啦. So the control center would likely be the coordinator 啦. Either it can be the brain or the endocrine glands. Okay? 內分泌嘅管道啦. And then these coordinator, they are going to compare, 去比較一下啦, compare 呢個嘅 level of your parameter with the set point. Okay? So it's trying to compare the change in level. 咁究竟有改變幾多呢? And the normal set point. 正常嚟講, in your body, what is a set point? And after that, it's going to send message again, and this time to the effector. 去到一個嘅效應器嗰度啦, to initiate a response. Initiate 中文係代表去開始啦, 去激發一個嘅 response 啦. Alright? And the last part is the effector. Effector receive the message, 然後就 produce 一個 response 啦. Very easy. Alright? So one easy definition for what is set point. 乜嘢為之一個設定點呢? And that one is like, for the set point for 一個 normal body temperature 啦, will be around 37 degrees Celsius. 大概37度左右嘅. Okay, so this ladder, let's see if you really need to understand this. If you understand the upper parts, then you can skip this. Okay, but this ladder is like, I'll just go through very quickly. 第一樣嘢啦, so there is a stimulus. For example, it becomes the lighter color, 淺色少少嘅部分啦. So it gets higher than normal. 當佢高過正常嗰陣時, receptor detect it, send it to control center. Control center 就去 analyze, 就去 compare 呢個嘅 difference in level 有咩改變呢? Compared to set points, and then send message to the effector. Effector 就會 give response, 然後就會嘗試 decrease 翻 the level, and therefore after it decrease the level, it gets back to normal. Okay, vice versa. Okay, 相反就係下邊嘅情況啦. So why do we say this is the negative feedback mechanism. 點解我哋叫 negative 呢？原因就係 because there is an opposite effect， 有一個相反嘅作用啊。There is an opposite effect. It gets higher, I need to decrease it. It gets lower, I need to increase it. 得唔得？有個相反作用。We say this is the negative feedback mechanism. Okay, so in the end， 去最尾啦，佢就 bring the level closer to 一個 set point 啦，或者我哋講 return to 一個 normal level。自己輕輕寫低啊 ，return to 一個嘅 normal level of 啲乜嘢咧？例如可能 normal temperature level 啦，可以係 normal water content、normal water potential 嘅一個 level 啦。Alright， but then this one please put a small star over here， 打細粒星啦。So what it says， 我哋就會講啦 ，when homeostasis is achieved， 達到咗一個體內平衡嗰陣時 ，the level is not like a flat line。唔係永遠一條橫線咁樣㗎 ，it is not never staying constant， 唔係永遠一條橫線咁樣。Instead, it fluctuates， 佢不斷喺度波動緊嘅。So fluctuating means like this，OK？Within the normal limits， 即係代表佢係一個極限嘅啦。我哋會有 upper limit， 我哋會有 lower limit。But it is not like a flat line， 唔係一條平嘅線 ，it's keep on fluctuating。Okay？So this is another, I quite like this analogy. 咁幾中意呢個比喻㗎。So this is like the air conditioner. So all of you must be very familiar with it. Okay? 好認識佢㗎啦。So it's very similar. There is a detector. 咁你會有一個或者我哋叫 receptor 啦 ，to detect the room temperature. 好啦 ，and then the control board is just like a coordinator. 有個控制板啦。It's going to compare the room temperature with the set temperature.OK， 而個 set temperature 咁當然啦 ，in the case of your air conditioner， 用緊冷氣機嗰陣時 ，we set the temperature，alright？ For example, I want it to be 18 degrees Celsius。係啦，我自己設定嘅。Okay, so then the control board will try to compare the room temperature， 即係真實嘅溫度啦 ，and the temperature I set。好啦 ，when it is above your set temperature， 高過我設定嗰陣時，佢就會 turn on cooling system。When your room temperature achieve 17 degrees Celsius 啦，或者18 degrees Celsius 啦。當佢達到咗我嘅 set temperature 嗰陣時 ，below 咗啦，咁佢就會 turn off your cooling system 啦。So once again, we can see that this one is like having an opposite effect. Temperature too hot, 佢 turn on cooling system. Temperature too low, 佢 turn off cooling system. OK， 所以你見到係一個 opposite effect。And lastly， 我哋嘗試啦 ，in the end, trying to maintain relatively constant 一個大致上係穩定嘅 room temperature。Okay, so start getting used to these words， 例如係 opposite effect 啦 ，relatively 相對地 constant 穩定嘅乜嘢啦。Alright, so it's not yet the last part, alright, but this one, other than introducing the negative feedback，I also want to introduce you the positive feedback。Okay, so not all the feedback system or feedback mechanism 都係一個 negative 㗎。Sometimes there are like several examples in our body 係會用到呢個 positive feedback 嘅。Alright, one of them is going to be taught here, and another one is going to be taught in book 5 about the hormones。我哋講到呢個嘅激素嗰陣時啦，都會用到另一個 positive feedback 嘅。Alright, so what does this positive feedback means? By definition， 如果講定義嚟講啦 ，it's going to amplify， 自己讀呢隻字啦 ，amplify 應該係 fy 尾嘅 ，OK？ 咁呢度係 amplifies 啦 ，OK？amplify 解擴大咗 ，OK？ 擴大咗個 original change。OK，so for example， what does that mean? The temperature gets hotter， 個溫度上升咗啦 ，I'm going to amplify。我嘗試去擴大佢 ，so therefore I'm going to continue 去繼續去 increase the temperature， 再去 increase 個 temperature。OK，I don't care what is the change， 總之就係我係 amplify 緊個 change 啦，得唔得 ？And this example we use is 呢一個嘅 labour， 我哋用呢個 process of labour 去講啦。So normally 喺一個 labour 即係生緊仔嗰陣時啦 ，so we will produce a hormone， 就會出現咗一個激素出嚟。And this hormone will stimulate 刺激啦，呢個 uterine wall to contract， 刺激呢個嘅子宮肌肉去 contract。Alright， so therefore the baby will be pushed out more easily 啦。Alright， so you're trying to give labour， 咁即係嘗試 push the baby out 啫嘛。 Alright， 好啦，但係咯 ，this contraction will lead to 一個 secretion 分泌得 a larger amount of hormones. Okay, so first of all, when you are giving labor, it will produce a little hormone, so that your uterine wall will contract. 佢繼續收縮啦。And when it contract, it will continue 繼續去 secrete more hormones. 然後啦 therefore, your uterine muscle 就繼續 contract, continue to contract more strongly and more frequently. Until when? 直至到幾時呢？ Until you push the fetus out through the cervix. Cervix 只可以讀到呢個字啦，係解子宮頸。Alright, cervix. Okay, so that's one example about the positive feedback mechanism. And this is the last part before I end this video. 呢個最後一個部分啦。Glucose level is also regulated by a negative feedback mechanism 啦。Okay, and two hormones will be introduced. 有兩種嘅 hormone. So please do not mix up these three words. 呢三個字唔好撈亂。One of them is insulin. The other one is glucagon. And the last one is glycogen. Okay, so first of all, you have seen one of the words already, and that word is glycogen. Glycogen, what is that? That is the storage in animals. And for starch, that is the storage in plants. Okay, just extra information for you. 係額外嘅知識啦。But then, please do not mix these three words up. 包括 insulin, glucagon 同埋 glycogen. 自己去讀一讀先啦。Insulin, glucagon, glycogen. Alright? 好啦, so one last thing before we start is that we need to know that these two hormones, insulin 同埋 glucagon 啦, they're actually protein in nature. 佢哋嘅本質係蛋白質嚟㗎。Okay? And they're going to have opposite effect on the blood glucose level. Okay? So for this table, please put a star for point number 2 and point number 3. We always use these 2 points. Okay? You will see that later. 經常性會用到呢兩個觀點嘅。Okay, so insulin, what is it going to do? It's trying to, you can put it down, it's trying to decrease the blood glucose level. 佢目的係降低個血糖水平。So how is it going to do that? First of all, 佢會 stimulate 刺激啦，我哋嘅 liver cell, body cell 去 take up more glucose， 去吸收更加多嘅 glucose 啦。This is very similar to point number 3. It's going to stimulate body cell to consume， 去直接嚼咗佢啦，去消耗佢啦。To consume more glucose, and therefore by what? 就係 to carry out your respiration 嘅，去進行呢個 respiration。Okay, so this is one of the key points. And the last one 去第二個啦，就係 that is the liver cell， 我哋嘅肝細胞啦 ，and muscle cells. It's going to stimulate them 呢兩嚿嘢啦，去 convert 呢啲嘅 blood glucose 血糖 into glycogen， 唔係 glucagon 啊 ，into glycogen 去 store 嘅。Okay, so for your information, where are the glycogen stored? 咁佢哋喺邊度儲存咗嘅咧 ？One of them is in our liver， 喺我哋肝臟入邊啦 ，and the other one will be in our muscles。Okay， 就喺我哋肌肉入邊嘅。So therefore, there is this second point， 有第二個點啦，就講緊佢會刺激 liver cell and muscle cell 去做一個嘅 conversion， 去做一個轉換嘅。And the other hormone is this glucagon。Glucagon 就係代表佢係會相反啦 ，they are having the opposite effects. So this time it's going to convert 調轉翻咯 ，the glycogen into glucose. 所以啦 ，therefore 佢個 effect 係 increase 呢個 blood glucose level 嘅。Okay, so this is like a first introduction about these hormones 呢個 hormone 啦，同埋呢一個嘅 negative feedback mechanism。呢兩個嘅 hormones 我哋都講咗啦 ，so we're just trying to put both things together， 包括呢個 negative feedback mechanism 啦，同埋呢兩個嘅insulin and glucagon。Alright， 好嚟啦喎。So this is regulated by your endocrine system. Okay, because we know that endocrine system that means hormones is related. Okay， 唔係 by your nervous system 啦。Okay, so this time it is regulated by your endocrine tissue, 一啲嘅內分泌嘅組織啦 ，and one very important organ, 一個好重要嘅器官 is pancreas. Okay, why is it related to pancreas? Because it is going to produce Okay, is going to produce both insulin and glucagon. 佢係個製造者嚟㗎。Okay, but then remember this thing. Please put a small star over here as well. Remember that both of them, both insulin and glucagon, 呢兩樣嘢都係 produced continuously，係持續地 produce， but their amounts vary。vary 都係解咩意思 ？What does it mean? That means their amounts will be different，係唔一樣嘅。Alright, so it's not like when the blood glucose level is too high，當佢太高嗰陣時啦 ，I'll only produce insulin but not glucagon。淨係 produce insulin. It's not like that. Okay? On the other hand, when the blood glucose level is too low, I want to increase it. So therefore, I'll just produce glucagon. That is also not true. Okay? 我唔係會淨係 produce 其中一種嘅 hormone 嘅。Alright? Keep that in mind. So this small paragraph may help you a bit before we start introducing this part. 咁你會見到啦，一個 high blood glucose level 啦 ，normally 佢會 stimulate 咗 production of even more insulin 嘅，咁從而去 decrease 翻個 blood glucose level 啦。但係啦 ，at the same time as I said， 佢都會 at the same time produce glucagon， 只係啦 ，the production of glucagon is inhibited， 係降低咗、抑制咗 ，but doesn't mean that it is stopped。唔係停止咗嘅 ，OK？ So these two parts are quite how do I say that? Tedious， 有少少悶啊 ，OK？ Because if you understand this negative feedback mechanism well, then you will know this is like mixing everything together. But then please remember, there are several points here which you need to answer very clearly. 如果你想攞到4至5分 ，if you want to get like 4 to 5 marks in this area, then you need to answer these key points very clearly， 好清晰咁樣講嘅。Okay, so first of all, the pancreas. So as I said, pancreas is the big boss here. 咁佢係一個大腦啦。And how does it detect the change in blood glucose level？ 點樣去測試到嗰個改變啊 ？So there are a lot of chemoreceptors， 有好多呢啲嘅化學感受器。Okay, so for example, after a meal, because 因為我哋講緊嘅係 increase in blood glucose level 啊嘛。So like after a meal, then your chemoreceptor 就會 detect 到係 increase in blood glucose level 啦。好 ，this is the first point。第一樣嘢 ，there must be someone detecting， 一定係 receptor 嘅。好啦 ，receptor 之後 ，it is going to the coordinator，and this time who is the coordinator？ 個 coordinator 就係呢個 pancreas 啦。pancreas 就會 produce more insulin， 佢產生多啲 insulin 啦。And at the same time, that's not enough， 係 more insulin and less glucagon。Once again, it is both things， 係兩個嘅都會有㗎。Alright？好啦，然之後咯 ，what is going to happen？ 當然啦，就係到 effector 啦。So this insulin will stimulate two effects。咁 depends on the question 啦，究竟佢係 4 marks 定係5 marks 啊 ？OK？ 咁你見到啦，呢度佢 first of all， 如果係5 marks 嘅話 ，you need to tell me 2 results 啦，或者 2 effects 啦，兩個影響嘅。其中一個啦就係 stimulate the liver cell、muscle cell 去 convert 呢啲嘅 glucose 變翻做 glycogen 啦 for storage。At the same time 嘞，佢都會 stimulate your body cell 去 consume more glucose for respiration. Okay, you have seen these two sentences just in the part above. 喺上邊嘅部分已經講咗㗎啦。Okay, so if this is only a 4-mark question, then you can just answer one of them. Alright, 當然啦，你記到嘅話 ，if you can remember it, it's better if you put down both. 好啦，咁然後再嚟嘞。What is the result？ 最尾一分啦，就係個 result 係啲乜嘢咧 ？Glucose is taken up.So therefore, the blood glucose level decreases and return to your normal level. 自己喺呢度輕輕寫翻個字啦 ，normal level. Alright, or we can also say that it's getting back to the set point. Okay, so this one is like the diagram. Okay, so what we are talking about now is this one, the red cycle. 紅色呢一個位啦。So first one, glucose level increase. 所以啦 ，receptor 喺邊度？ Receptor, the chemoreceptor in your pancreas 就會 detected 啦，所以啦 pancreas 呢個 coordinator 就會 release 就 produce more insulin 同埋 less glucagon。所以啦 two effects, one of them body cell consume more glucose for respiration， 另一個 liver cell muscle cell 就會 convert more glucose into glycogen for storage。最尾啦，所以 therefore blood glucose level 就會 decrease 啦。This is one negative feedback mechanism。The same or the opposite 啦 goes for 呢一個嘅 blood glucose level decrease 嗰陣時，要 convert more glycogen 啦 into 一個嘅 glucose，所以啦 therefore 就會令到你 blood glucose level increase 嘅。So we are going to talk about this in the next paragraph. Okay? 所以啦 this is the opposite case， 相反嘅情況啦喎。Decrease in your blood glucose level, what will happen? First of all, again, first mark， 咁就係 chemoreceptor detect 到 decrease in blood glucose level。OK？ 好啦，所以你話 pancreas， 你個 coordinator what is it going to do？ 佢會 produce less insulin, more glucagon。好啦 ，what is the effect？ Glucagon 就會 stimulate liver cell, muscle cell convert stored glycogen 啦，去到變咗做 glucose。好 ，what is the final result？ 最後一樣嘢係啲乜嘢啊？ So the blood glucose level increases and return to 一個 normal level， 亦都係 return 翻去到個 set point 嗰度啦。Okay, so that's all about this part. Okay, so it's better if you already feel like it's very annoying. 如果你覺得係好囉嗦嘅話咧 ，that is very good. Okay, so this is all about the homeostasis and the negative feedback mechanism. Alright, 好啦 this last green box is a little bit extra information， 一啲額外嘅資訊俾你啦。So actually in a pancreas, it's not like a muscle thing. It's not fully made of muscle. 其實啦，我哋會成日都講到 if you know the Chinese of insulin, which is 胰島素啦 then you will know that this word very easily. 我哋會有一個字叫 islets of Langerhans. Islets of Langerhans. So this one in Chinese is 胰島啦。Okay, so this actually this one appears in a question before, so you need to be careful about this. So inside this islets of Langerhans, there are like two types of cells. 有兩種嘅 cell, one of them is alpha, the other one is beta cells. Alright, so what are they? So their function, 佢哋嘅功能啦，都係 chemoreceptor 同埋一個 control center 嚟嘅。So they will detect the blood glucose level and they will decide whether they will produce insulin or whether they will produce glucagon at the same time. 佢哋呢個功用㗎。So it's just telling you that alpha cell will produce glucagon. If it is going to produce glucagon, therefore it will increase 呢個嘅 blood glucose level 啦。而 beta cell 就會係 produce insulin， 所以個 result 就係 decrease 呢個嘅 blood glucose level 啦。Okay, so that's all about this video and I'll see you in the next one. In the next one, we're going to focus on what will happen if we fail to regulate your blood glucose levels. Alright, so I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.